Well, good morning and welcome to day two of our series of 40 Lent reflections, just short little thoughts for the day. Fran started us off yesterday talking about Adam and Eve and journeys. And we're going to continue the theme of journeys today. I don't know if do you remember what a journey is? We don't seem to go very far today. We only have to plan to go to Sainsbury's or to the park. We're not making plans to go on big journeys. But when that day comes when we can make journeys and go on holidays again, one of the first things that we'll need to think about is where we're going. Most of our journeys, of course, have a definite destination, don't they? We know where we're going to go. We probably know how we're going to get there as well. And there's a sense of security. And we tend to think often linearly. It's easy to see our destination as being just our final goal, our onwards and upwards, as they say in the old phrase, as we plan a journey. In the book of Hebrews in the Bible, we are told that Abraham believed God, and that was credited to him as righteousness. Now, Abraham in the book of Genesis, he's called by God to uproot and go to a new land which God will show him. And it's clear that Abraham doesn't have a fully formulated idea of who God is at this time. He hasn't got any systematic theology, but rather Abraham has the beginning of a relationship building and trust with God. And he is willing to take risks. God calls him to leave home to go to a completely different place and to take his family to a new culture and a new way of living. He didn't exactly have a roadmap with a clear destination, did he? Abraham did get to Canaan, which was where God meant him to be. But when he set out, he had no idea where he was going. And when he got there, Abraham possibly wondered whether he was in the right place at the right time. Now, some years ago, when Fran and I visited the British Museum in London, we were struck by a small object in the Ugaritic collection from the time of Abraham. It was a small statue of a black ram caught in a jeweled encrusted thicket. And Fran particularly remembered the story of Abraham and Isaac when she saw it and showed it to me. When instead of Abraham having to sacrifice his son, God provided a ram in the thicket for the sacrifice, if you remember the story. And this object was the part of the culture of Ur in Chaldea. And Abraham was called to leave that culture behind, to leave everything behind that he knew and understood, and go to a new place with new culture and a new way of living, new countryside, new norms. Everything he knew had to be rewritten effectively. Abraham's journey wasn't clear-cut like ours might be when we plan a holiday and have flights booked and taxis booked and trains booked. And Abraham went to Canaan and to Egypt and back towards Canaan again. And the only piece of land he owned in most of that time was a burial plot in Hebron, where Sarah was buried, and later himself. And I was thinking, we might not know exactly where it is that we are going at this point. We might have a vague idea, a dream, or a hope, but we are all called to venture out in boldness and obedience to God's call. Maybe with uncertainty and a bit of trepidation. And that's why I love that poem of Thomas Merton. And the poem goes, "My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think that I'm following your will does not mean that I'm actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does, in fact, please you. And I hope that the desire in all that I'm doing, I hope I have that desire in all that I'm doing. And I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore will I trust you, though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone." I always find that an encouraging poem if we have tough decisions to make about where we're going and what we're doing. So it's a poem by Thomas Merton, and it's called The Road Ahead, I believe, if you want to Google it and read it in full. So be blessed, whether you're going on any journeys today, and stay safe. And we will see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye.